Marketplace with Charles on an 11-day tour of the Holy Land. Take the route Israel traveled to the Promised Land, cross over the Red Sea, and float on the Dead Seas, the lowest point on earth with amazing healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you are looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the marketplace. For more information, call us on +27 72 123 0078 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.
Welcome to Marketplace with Charles, where dreams are turned into reality. Marketplace is brought to you by Art of Skincare, the company that brings out the beauty in you, as well as Kuisa Lodge, situated at the heart of Mabalingo Nature Reserve. I am Charles Hlungwani. On Marketplace, we empower and equip you with tools that you need to achieve your entrepreneurial dreams. Each week, we bring you insight from experts in different fields of business, from men and women of faith. Today, we're meeting a pastor, a founder of the Success Club, an inspirational speaker, and an author of note. Changing times demand changing in almost everything. How do you respond when the situation demands of you to change? The reality that we have witnessed in the different peoples respond in different ways. My guest today will focus on how you can reinvent yourself in order to be victorious in life and also be able to adapt to this change, or should I say, the rapid change. Help me welcome Dr. Gezani Philip Hlungwani with me in your home, hotel room, or wherever you may be watching this episode from. Doc, once more, welcome to Marketplace with Charles.
Thank you very much, Pastor Charles, and greetings to all your viewers.
This is, I guess, the fourth time that you are gracing our studios.
Thanks very much.
And the first time that we started with Marketplace, you were our first guest.
Wow, beautiful. I hope I'm not the last.
Right in front of our eyes, we see the world changing rapidly, as if it's just the recreation of another world we don't even understand. What now?
Yeah, we live at a time which the Bible calls perilous times. The change is so rapid. My only fear is that we may not be changing with the changing times. Mm-hmm. Although you see, seated here, I would say change with the changing times. But in my heart, I feel like saying change to change the changing times.
Wow.
I feel like saying that rather than change with the changing times. Because if you change with the changing times, it means that you never recognize who you are, that you are above time. You are more powerful than time. You are more powerful than change. You are supposed to spearhead change. You are supposed to tell it to stop. Jesus said, I'm the Lord of the Sabbath. I'm in control. I'm in charge. So I would say change to change the changing times. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and make them suitable and favorable to you.
But what does reinvention speak to?
Reinvention speaks to self-introspection. You see the damage done by whoever tried to help us was teaching us about locusts, teaching us about frogs, teaching us about birds, and never taught us about ourselves. Mm-hmm. So reinvention talks to you looking at yourself, learning more about yourself, looking at who you are, what you have, and what you can do, and then tapping onto that to change the world, to move forward. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look into yourself, you look into Mother Earth, and because we come from Mother Earth as the body, you look into the Mother Earth, you look into yourself to to find who you are, what you have, what you can do, and move forward and forge life.
Would you say then people have to go back and re-educate themselves?
Yes, look, slave masters will never educate the children of slaves, but for their own benefit. They will teach you to count the cattle, to count the head of cabbages. They will never teach you something that will help you discover yourself and rise up and change your world. Slave masters will never educate the children of slaves. That is why Africa is not educated. No. And I can prove that Africa is not owned by Africans. Yeah, Africa is owned by the West. Because the West hold the deed of grant of Africa, just like the devil held the deed of grant of the world, of planet Earth. So the West are holding the deed of grant, and the African is driving the car, living in the house, thinking that it is his house. He's blind. He doesn't know it's not his. He doesn't have the deed of grant. The deed of grant is in the vault somewhere in Europe, somewhere in the West, held by the very same people we're trying to liberate ourselves from. So Africa does not belong to Africans. And the African must educate himself. The African must look into himself. Education, he should write his own syllabus, not go to Canada and steal Canadian syllabus and come and teach us here. You must write your own syllabus. And of course, the best education comes from home. Your mother and your father should sit down and teach you and educate you. Those are the true educators. So it should be Afrocentric. It must come back home. Until we educate ourselves, write our own syllabus, have our own economy, we are not free. Africa is not free. I'm sorry to say that, but Africa is not free. Freedom is not political. Freedom is more than political. So, reinvention, we must look into ourselves, find who we are, the great Africans. Such a great continent cannot create grasshoppers. We are giants, but unfortunately we are blind, ignorant giants. Some are happy that they are presidents of the land, but they don't have the economy in their hands.
You know, but what worries me most is that it looks like we are the consuming nation. We don't produce anything. And yet Africa itself has got the vast arable land. We can feed the whole world with the land that we're having.
I learned with dismay that England, United Kingdom, was educating their children to come into Africa and take from Africa. I'm talking about now. Now, educating their children to come into, they were talking about 90-something billion whatever wealth in Africa. And I saw that the men and women educating their children to come into Africa and take from Africa. Africa beautify the whole world as I'm seated here. Even in sport, it may be called Germany, France, England, you'll find an African competing against his own Africans under the name England, Kai, bought and taken over there to compete for the country. It's Africa competing against itself, even in sport.
Currently, we were embracing what's so-called the new normal. How can one adapt to this so-called new normal with the limited resources that we have?
I beg to differ. That one, we shouldn't adapt. We should make the new normal adapt to us. We shouldn't adapt. Woe unto us if we adapt to the new normal. Because the new normal is not our creation. The new normal, I forgot to tell you that, we live on the earth created by God, but in a world made by man. Now, If the world is made by man and is so-called new normal and is not good for me, should I adapt to it, or should I force it? Subdue the earth. God said to Adam, subdue the earth. It simply means force the earth to produce for you what you want out of it. So the same with this new normal. New normal should be subdued. Men and women of God all over the world must rise up and subdue new normal and put their neck on it and tell it to bow. If we allow ourselves to be swallowed up in the new normal, the creations that will come out of it could be wild. We don't know what will come out of that. But you see, with the power that we have, we must tell new normal what to be, what to do, and how long to remain with us. Because we determine how long the devil should remain with us. Behold, I give you power and authority to tread over new normal. To tread over the devil, serpents and scorpions and all the power of the enemy. I think that all the power of the enemy include the new normal, because the new normal is not good. It's part of the power of the enemy the devil is trying to create. Men must rise up and tread over it forcefully. If we are Christians and we are stronger and we are more powerful, we have authority, let us arise. Let's not go to church to dance there, cry there, and pretend like we are too good when we are in the church, and get out and be normal to the new normal. I will never be normal to the new normal. Never. I will rise up. I will rise up and put my foot on the new normal and tell it, this is my territory. New normal, you have entered a territory which is ruled by Gezan Philip Hlungwani. I have got power. Remember, God said to rule the birds of the earth, to rule in the seas, to rule the animals, the reptiles. From my place, from where I am now, this is my throne. My body is my throne. I don't need a throne. My body is my throne. From where I am, I can rule over the seas, up there, down there, underneath, and all over. I can even talk and control new normal from where I'm seated now. So we cannot allow new normal to change us. We must rise up and change.
Wow. Well, viewers out there, you have had it. Put your knee on the new normal.
Yes.
And rise above all odds. More after the break.
Join Marketplace with Charles on an 11-day tour of the Holy Land. Take the route Israel traveled to the Promised Land. Cross over the Red Sea and float on the Dead Seas, the lowest point on earth with amazing healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you are looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the marketplace. For more information, call us on +27 72 123 0078 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.
Welcome once more to Marketplace with Charles. I am still sitting here with a great Reverend, Prophet, Dr. Gezani Philip Hlungwani. He is full of wisdom. If you need wisdom, here is it.
You know how I got this?
Yeah.
While I was at Rema, I discovered a scripture which says, Christ has become your wisdom, your righteousness, your holiness. I couldn't believe it. And I said to myself, I have no competition on earth. The mathematician, the source of mathematics is in me. The source of science is in me. Technology is in me. I have no competition. Therefore, I don't ask God for wisdom. I've never asked God for wisdom. No, why should I do that? I'm not Solomon. God has become my wisdom. I don't even want him to give me wisdom. He's given him myself. So he is my wisdom. I have no competition on planet Earth. No ways. Even this new normal cannot beat me. Yeah. No, it cannot. It shouldn't beat Christians. We shouldn't just, run either like headless chickens. No, we are children of God. New normal must bow by force. I don't want to say by fire.
Fire by force. But then tell me, what does reinventing oneself entails?
As I said, it entails that it's a pity, we don't look at ourselves. When one needs a job, he looks outside. One will look for the good CV style of writing and write CVs. I taught my children not to write CVs at school and not to write a job application letter. All my children, I taught them from grassroots. When you go to school, never learn to write letters for your job application. Hlungwani angatswali tiboy. Hlungwani doesn't give birth to servants. He gives birth to kings and queens. So I taught them that from childhood. So you see, when it comes to reinvention, we're talking about looking into yourself, and you'll realize that you are bigger than the biggest mountain in the world, and you have got everything. And allow me to say that man will never run short of resources. No. Man doesn't have limited resources, because man is a resource himself, and man is not limited. Man is unlimited. He's not limited. He cannot be limited with God inside of him, with the image of God in him, the wisdom, the power, the glory. He cannot be limited. The limited resources outside cannot circumstance him. So man must understand that, limited as the resources are in the world, he is not limited. He must rise up. Even in the desert, man is not limited. The desert is limited. Man is not limited to change the desert into a city and a place of sweet water. So he is not limited. He must understand, I'm not limited. I must look inside of myself, in my mind, in my heart, in my being, and download. If I don't have it, I download it from heaven so that I can create something new out of myself to face the challenges that I have, that are on hand.
I want you to take it deeper, Papa, into the creative ability that man has.
Sometimes if I cry, it's me. Okay, please, I don't want to cry, but I feel like crying. It is a pity to watch men suffer. And under all the forces of life and the difficulties. But what worries me is the church, because the church should educate people to realize that they are born with a creative genius inside. You know how many songs I wrote. You know how many books I'm writing. You know how many statements I've made. And I don't just read books. I do read books. I'm reading books in my car now, but I don't read books to find things. They come. Because I discovered I have a creative genius in me. Every living person has a creative genius in him. You know why? Because when God made man, he didn't take a piece from hyenas or baboons or curds or donkeys. He cut a piece of himself.
He went into himself, yes.
He looked into himself, cut a piece of himself and put it in man and made man out of himself, that creative genius, out of himself. That's why I call man the masterpiece. You are a masterpiece. You have everything that God is and that God has. You can do whatever you need to do on earth. You can be as creative in your own circle, as creative as God is, to create the new world that you want and change the world. I'm not talking about the new world order because they will think I'm evil. I'm talking about the creative genius inside every person, because God cut a piece of himself to make you as you are. And that creative genius is in there. And what a mess to take it to the grave. I said, at death, I want to die poor. I don't want to die rich. Because if I die rich, I die with everything that God has put in me. And I take it to the grave. And in heaven, it does not have a duty there. It's worth nothing. So I must take it all out. It's a pity to watch Christians or people die with everything that God has put in them, stuck inside of them, having done nothing. Nothing even in their obituary, except that she got married, he got 3 kids. The kids are uneducated, and they lived in a shack. They didn't have a job, and blah, blah. You blame the government. How can you expect a government of people to bring change? Huh?
But then, what is your word of advice to the people who resist change or who resist reinvention?
In 7 months, COVID-19 has changed the whole world. Either by force or what. We are wearing masks, all of us, all over the world. Wearing masks, sanitizing, washing hands, covering onto our elbows. It changed us. It shows that man does not and cannot and doesn't want to resist change or reinvention. Somehow man doesn't want to resist that. People, they want change. People want change. But the problem is, people have never been allowed to drive their own change and reinvention. If people were allowed to drive their own change and reinvention, all of us would go for it. But they don't need to be allowed. No. Hey, I'm sorry to announce here, but I'm building the first city called Gezanisberg. Because I wanted to build this. I wanted to make sure that the day I pass on, there is Gezanisberg somewhere there. All over. I want to build it all over the world. Zimbabwe, Mozambique, South Africa, Kenya, America. When people want a better place, they must go to Gezanisberg. The reason why I want to do that, I want to show you and the rest of the world that you can do anything and everything that you want. You don't need to be chained by the circumstances of life. You must reinvent yourself. Come out a better person. That's what Jesus did. That's what Jesus did. You know when he died, the devil celebrated. They even put a big stone on his tombstone. You know, they put gas there. They were so happy. He died in shame, wounded and broken. Wait until the 3rd day, man. He came out stronger. He came out better. During the 3 days and 3 nights, he was in the process of self-reinvention in there. And when he came out, even the rock obeyed him, opened up on his own. And there was no force of gravity anymore. That's what we must do. You must come out better, bigger, stronger, and more powerful, even after defeat, even during COVID-19. Even now that the economy, the health sector, and politics has collapsed, you must not collapse with it. No, the cul-de-sac doesn't mean stop there and cry tears. Build your own road. Extend it, build your own road, and move on. Because to those who are wise, who love life, and who love themselves, there's no cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
No cul-de-sac.
I remember the other time you said, years back, when you see a stop sign, stop and go sign,
Yeah.
behind the stop sign,
Yeah.
if you check the other side, there's a go.
Just turn it around. You'll be so shocked. It says go. So why stay there and hey, wait and cry, hey, the stop sign? You just turn it. Oh, go. Then you move. So you can always reinvent yourself into something. To all the viewers of Marketplace with Pastor Charles, I call him Pastor Charles because he is. With Pastor Charles, reinvent yourself. Stop crying, man. Stop blaming other people and other people. You have got, every single person have got power to reinvent self, have got a choice to reinvent self, have got potential to reinvent yourself to something greater, better, and more powerful.
Do you have a word of wisdom to the viewers as your parting word?
Yes, I do. You know, I would like to say to you that if you sit down and listen to wisdom, first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day, on and on and on, and do nothing about it, it is like you never listen to wisdom. A little bit of wisdom that you get should spur you up to rise up and change your life and the lives of those around you. Let us change the world now. It is in our power to reinvent ourselves. Let's do something about Marketplace with Charles. Not only this edition, but all other editions. God bless you.
Well, if you need to hear more out of him, if you need more of his materials, books, CDs, USB, you name it, get in touch with Marketplace with Charles. We'll hook you up. I am Charles Ngobeni signing off on Marketplace, and I'm available on all forms of social media. Well, God bless you. See you next time, same place.
Join Marketplace with Charles on an 11-day tour of the Holy Land. Take the route Israel traveled to the Promised Land. Cross over the Red Sea and float on the Dead Seas, the lowest point on earth with amazing healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you are looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the Marketplace. For more information, call us on +27 72 123 0078 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.